Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Pyra Omilade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. And y'all know I love helping the women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess centered lifestyle. Yeah, I'm here when I'm not typically here. Will anyone show up? It should be public. Okay. I just double check it every day. I guess I can show my face, didn't I? Hey, how y'all doing? I didn't know that was up there with me. So yeah, yesterday I got shook when I saw that Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears have been accused of something with hurting a child. I'm just gonna be cautious of how I talk. Because this ain't my platform. Like, it is my platform, but it's not. It belongs to YouTube, and they be like getting folks. Their AI is on point. Okay. But anywho, I just want to look and see what's going on with Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. Not because I'm trying to be nosy, but I just find it interesting. Like, this is the last thing I expected to hear about them. Let me make sure this is correct. It's working. So yeah, I thought it would be fun to look at what's going on with them. And of course, y'all know I told you the other day about my Goddess Vinny toolkit that I have here for you all. If you look in the comment section here in the live, you'll see a link to go get yours. Nobody went the other day. There was no new signups for this mini toolkit. No one has signed up for it. So yeah, y'all take advantage of it. This is stuff that typically is paid content that I'm giving to you all as a gift. And yeah, I talked about it the other day, but just suffice it to say, it's a lot of good tools to kind of help you. My goal is to keep everybody nice and level, over this next year or so. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with them. And because I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked. I did not expect to hear this about Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears. And the other day we were looking at Will Smith's chart because I was like, who was supposed to talk about y'all? We didn't even have anybody to talk about. And so we got somebody to talk about today. I don't really see a lot going on in the news or with celebrities and stuff. So it was interesting that this came forth. So we know Tiffany Haddish is an actress. I like Tiffany Haddish. I think she has great wild woman energy. I think that's wonderful. Hey, Virgo Bliss, how are you, goddess? Um, but yeah, I just think that's weird that it came out when it did. So I just wanted to see, this news about her potentially hurting a child. And it's crazy because, I don't know if it's just some crazy people that have latched onto her because she has settled one lawsuit with this family. And now the child that was a part of the lawsuit is an adult and is bringing another lawsuit. It's a brother and a sister. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So I haven't even really looked at the chart. I was expecting to see something with Scorpio, though. I was like, she's got to have something in Scorpio because one of the first things that went through my mind is, well, we have the eclipses. Part of the eclipse is happening in Scorpio, and it's purging, it's releasing, it's letting things go. Scorpio is a sign that has to do with sex. It has to do with wounding. And so, we have her with what did I not put the okay, I see it. We have I'm gonna go back and put the lower node on there. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. So Scorpio does have to do with sexual trauma. It has to do with trauma. And it seems like if I remember correctly, sometimes I get stories confused. But was Tiffany Haddish a part of the child protective system, or like she was raised up in the system? I know there was another lady who I'm thinking about, but I'm like, why am I thinking that about Tiffany Haddish? I don't remember the story about her, but for some reason I think that. But anywho, definitely anytime people have something in Scorpio, you can almost put money on it that there's gonna be some type of sexual trauma or some type of trauma, um, abuse, something like that. Not 100%, but it is often something that is the case. Okay, so, she has, Uranus and Mercury there, and the eclipses have already gone over those 2 planets. The nodes are at 15 degrees, so it wasn't that long ago. Check this out. Wasn't that long ago that the nodes were on that Mercury and that Uranus. They are together. Isn't that interesting? The Mercury's at 21 and Uranus is at 22. And both of them have to do with news. They're even in the house that has to do with news and something coming, something being purged regarding um well, what she's known for, news, communication, talk, something like that. So I found that to be very, very interesting, and that could be something that is contributing to why are we hearing news, which is Mercury and Uranus in the 11th house, because the 11th house is broadcasting about children. I kind of see Mercury sometimes as children, and um, it's news about and some type of trauma, it's related to sex. So, woo, okay. And then, hey, Shamika, how are you? Yes, her mother is bipolar. She's been okay. I thought she was a part of foster care. Okay, so I did remember correctly because she's definitely a rags to riches story. I thought I had remembered that. Okay, so what else about the eclipses? And it's interesting because I had said I was going to write a newsletter and send it out telling y'all I'm building a case for why one of the most important things you need to keep up is where are the eclipses? Because it's going to tell a lot about what's going to happen. So check this out. The eclipses are also in Taurus. And what does she have in Taurus? She has the Chiron, which is the wounded healer. It's where she has trauma. And see, just like you just told me, Bliss, she has oh, good. I'm glad to hear that, Shamika. I'm glad I went live too. Yeah. I was sort of like I could get back to work or I could do something fun. So I decided to go live. Okay, so here we have her Chiron at 10 degrees of Taurus. Guess what house this is about? Kids. So initially, I'm like, oh, yeah, definitely something going on with her childhood. I would look at her and be like, I know for a fact she got something that happened with her, some childhood trauma. Um, and so the eclipses are getting closer to this Chiron. So anytime, oh, I was telling y'all I'm building the case for the eclipses because they they create so much change. And if we understand what kind of change they are creating, then we'll be more likely to go with it instead of fighting it. We can anticipate it and even direct some of it. Okay, um, so the eclipses are getting closer and closer to this Chiron, which means there's some wounding from her childhood, some wounding inside of her. This thing is being raised up. And who knows? Maybe it's like, and this is going to sound crazy, but I just get to talk about it however I want to because we just having fun, right? But what just came to me is on some level, I feel like these kids represent her. Maybe something like that happened to her when she was a kid. I don't know anything. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know anything about her outside of what I've told you. Occasionally I see she's winning awards and stuff, but I don't really know anything about her. Um, so I don't know if she's had some sexual abuse, but there's no question she had some childhood trauma. So the eclipses are going to be activating this, and it kind of puts me in the same thought that I was telling y'all about Will Smith. It's almost like, first and foremost, I am of the position of, yeah, I know number one, if a child says that they have been, injured by somebody, then it needs to be respected. We don't just dismiss what a child says. Number 1. Number 2, I know that celebrities deal with all kinds of stuff, right? And so maybe my thought is going to come back to me, but I just definitely wanted to say I know that this is like super complex. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I wonder if there's something that Tiffany hasn't worked on that she needs to work on, that now these eclipses and whatever's going on with these children um is gonna be is taking her in a new direction, or either clarifying something in her that, hey Felicia, greetings, clarifying something that she didn't take care of. She really, this really reminds me of Will Smith, that it's maybe some direction she was supposed to go in and she hadn't been doing it. Now another thing that I'll tell you. Okay, so wait a minute. Let me stay here. So we got this house lit up. Even Uranus is down here. I just thought about that. Now Uranus has activated this Chiron already. That was around mm, when was your let me see here. Uranus is at 18 degrees. Um at the top of this year. And I had looked at the news story and it said something like they settled in 2019. So that was right when, let me see here. If it was 2019, like I remember, yes. According to the outlet, the plaintiff's mother negotiated a settlement with Haddish's legal team in 2019. Now that was when Uranus was first coming into Taurus for good. So all of this has been brewing actually for Tiffany Haddish. Um, Now, where is Venus? So whenever you want to kind of get some more information, it's like, well, where is Venus? Well, Venus is over here in Capricorn. So in the house of the body. So I really wish I knew more about Tiffany Haddish. Actually, the inner child is such a huge deal. I didn't always feel that way, but I'm glad I'm more aware now. Yeah, her inner child, and see Venus in Capricorn. I can imagine this is somebody who had some struggles with the inner child, no question. Um, Venus in Capricorn can make somebody very successful, so I do love that for her. Um, let's see here. Has anything been transiting? No, not even. Now she did have, check this out, that that Venus return, it didn't it didn't hit these planets or her points, but it was in that first house. So it's stuff that's been brewing for Tiffany for a while. Um, okay. So I'm gonna go up here to Sag because again, I'm building a case for y'all regarding the eclipses. So last year was eclipses in Sag and um, Gemini, and actually the first eclipse in Sagittarius was in 2020. In 2020, yes. Um, but she really got hit up by those eclipses last year because her planets are a little bit earlier. The eclipses always start at the back part of a sign. They don't come in this way. The eclipses go that way. Planets move that way. Uh, what is that? Counterclockwise, and eclipses move clockwise. Okay. So the eclipses went here first. So she didn't feel anything initially. Maybe she got a little bit of whisperings, but initially she didn't catch it. But trust and believe, she got hit up. So what is Neptune? Neptune is a fog. First of all, these eclipses happen in her 12th house. What is 12th house? I'm just telling y'all what astrology says. Okay. I ain't making this up. The 12th house, it deals with secrets. It deals with things that are hidden. It deals with the bedroom. It's actually a house that can be related to sex because it is the house that's related to the bedroom. Okay. So the other thing, so that's interesting. She's a Sag, so we know her sun got activated. What is the sun? It can be, it's a lot of things, but one thing it is the career. It represents the career. So we knew something was going to change about her career or something regarding her career. I don't know if she's had a lot of stuff going on over the last year, but um I would say it's been a hard little time for her. Because that's just not a fun placement for the son anyway. Like, and that tells me she was not raised up. Let me not say for sure. When I see the son in the 12th house, the dad is away. So, she might have some daddy issues going on with that. But just the 12th house is a house where it's the house of self-undoing and sabotage. And it's like the house right before things just get loosed and just it's a house of liberation, but it's like liberation through the ultimate, like, I don't wanna say well, it's like death. It's the house right before death. And, I bet you something went down because the 12th house is the house that is the womb. It lets us know, like, was something going on? And she has the sun opposite the moon in her chart. So something was going on with the mom and the dad. Like, they were definitely not seeing eye to eye, or it was something that happened between her parents before she was born, while she was in the womb, something like that. Um, so it's something purging because what's in Sag, things that are purging. So even though they probably, I don't know if it was just what the settlement was about, but she made the settlement, and I'm sure they thought this is it, but um yeah, last year it was like, "No, this is not it." And so again, I'm just telling y'all what astrology says. I like Tiffany Haddish, I'm not against her, but I can tell you, I can assure you, both of these houses can have to do with secrets. This one because it's the 12th house, and this one because it's Scorpio. It's just secrets and darkness and stuff like that. So who knows? Okay, so let me see here. So I wanted to ask about, so I see the 7th house is a house that has to do with legal affairs, and this has to do with problems. So um one thing for sure is that her problems got highlighted, and needing to fix her problems got highlighted with those eclipses being, with a part of the eclipse that's in Gemini being activated, and it activated her moon. What does her moon have to do with? Well, it does have to do with contracts and legal affairs, along with partnerships. But since we're talking about a legal case, so that moon got activated, and I don't exactly remember the degrees of the eclipses in Gemini. Let's see here. So I use this thing called an ephemeris, and it pretty much tells us like where the degrees of all the planets are. And you can find out like where's the moon, when is the eclipses. So this is 2021. We had an eclipse in Gemini at 19 degrees. That's not super close to our moon, but it's the moon, the eclipse can affect you like 10 degrees out, but that is out at the edge. But still, that included her moon. Uh Yeah, that included her moon. And then the next eclipse, hold on, let's see where it was in there was one on the 10th in Gemini. Where's the other one? So eclipses always come in twos. Okay. So then there was one on the 26th at 5 degrees of Gemini. I mean of Sag. So let's see here. So that definitely encompassed her sun and her moon. She had that was pretty stout right there. That was one that had to do with releasing and purging. And the way I look at it is when I know I'm having eclipses like this, it's like, okay, what do I need to address? And it'll be showing you what's coming up. And it'll feel hard, honestly, because the eclipses are like trying to loosen things that we need to face, but we haven't faced them, or things we need to do, but we haven't done them. And so maybe there was some stuff she needed to take care of. Maybe she needed to slow down, a little bit. I don't know exactly what it is, but I get the sense that to a certain degree, she's facing something that she had not been facing or had not been really dealing with, and it not necessarily just with this case, but just within herself, because it's just these are extremely important planets. Hey, Eileen. Um, do I think I will see more celebrities go through things like this? Yes. Maybe not necessarily the same topic. It all depends on their placements. But the eclipses, they will tell the truth. This is why we are seeing what Will Smith crumble. He has that moon that was hit up in Scorpio. And, when the eclipses first came into Scorpio, his moon was hit up. And look at his life. Like, I'm telling you, one of the things that I love about astrology is that um, it doesn't matter who the person is. You can be all powerful, but you're gonna have to deal with the wisdom of the eclipses, the stars, the guides, destiny. And I love that people can come and just walk so much in their power, but there comes a time when we all have to make peace with the universe is asking me to go in a new direction, and that's what I need to do. And sometimes I think it's even though it doesn't feel easy, it might feel a little easier for those of us who um, maybe have more flexibility in what we can do with our career. I'm gonna say it that way. Maybe they don't feel like they can get out of their career. Maybe they really love it. But I can assure you it was something Tiffany needed to take care of. And now the eclipses are forcing her into it. Now, the other thing I looked at is this Mars. You know what? That is true. Thank you for saying Ocean Kimmy. That's right. I still call her Eileen. Hey, Ocean Kimmy. um, Okay, so Sharmika, my goodness, so astute. Why is it so many comedians? Because we had these eclipses in Gemini. Gemini is one of the signs for comedians. I know people may not know that, but it's true. So this is what's going on. Oh my God, you're brilliant. That was so good. So yes. That is why it's coming down the pipeline for the comedians. Wow. Okay. Monique and DL Hughley, they still beefing. Then we saw what happened with Dave Chappelle. I don't remember what I do think the eclipses were in Gemini when Dave Chappelle was it was a lot of hoopla around him. Okay. So now what do we have? Bless her heart. Oh my God. When I saw this, I was like, oh God. Yes. Wait a minute. Yes. Okay. So um Mars is at 8 degrees. Mm-mm-mm. Mars is at 8 degrees of um, Gemini, within 2 degrees of this moon. What in the world are we going to see from Tiffany Haddish? Is it that this Mars is there now and that's what peaked it off? Because in astrology, we call it the orb, and it's like how close in or out is something. And the closer the orb, the more you feel the transit, and the further out the orb, the less you will feel it. And so a 2-degree orb is what I consider to be a pretty tight orb. I like using pretty tight orbs. And so if I see something within 2 degrees of, another planet. Now, actually, this could have just kicked off as soon as Mars came into Gemini, because the moon, her natal moon, has an orb that's 10 degrees out. So, okay, look at this. Gemini's news. It's also, it's a sign that has to do with news and information and, like reporting. And here we are having this being reported about Tiffany Haddish after Mars moves into Gemini. Um, And so, let's see here, Mars rules her 4th house. This is gonna be rough on her, because Mars rules the house that has to do with, home, family, and emotions. So, this is gonna be it's gonna hit her up pretty hard. I hope that, that it has a lot of people to help her take good care of herself, Imma say it that way. Um, let's see here, what else? Yes. Uh, comedians are often dark and use comedy for relief of something. Yes, so true, Ocean Kimmy. It's also a way for them to make their inner traumas, yeah, and cover them up with laughter. Yes, make their inner traumas their comedy. Yep. Hey, queen. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay, so let's see here. What else do we see with Tiffany? So yeah, this Mars is activating this moon and the sun because it's the same degree. So what is the moon doing to what is Mars doing to the moon? Mars is making the moon like get super activated. It's going to really activate the moon. Now, Mars being in her sixth house will help her. I'm gonna be honest with you because Mars is very, very good in the sixth house. Because the sixth house is a house, number one, we call it a dark house. When we're looking at angles, the house of the self cannot see the sixth house, it cannot see the 12th house, and it cannot see the eighth house. You just have to accept that as the rule, okay? The it's just certain houses the first house cannot see. And the sixth house is one of those. And that's why it's the house of the problems. And so um let me see here. So, okay, I don't know what I was saying, but oh, so Mars in the sixth house is very, very good because this house is a house that has to do with just like all the problems. It's a very Virgo house. It has to do with all the problems. And Mars is like, I'm up for the challenge, baby. Mars is good. Mars and Saturn, they're good in the sixth house. So that could work in her favor. That could work in her favor. This might make her actually fight a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how this is gonna play out because it could make her, get activated and like, we fighting this. Okay, so what else do I see that could be activating? There was something else. Okay, that was for Aries Spears. So let's see here. A big player has been, where's Aquarius? Aquarius in the second house, in the fifth, no. But I will say that Sagittarius and Geminis are still kind of like ungrounded. And so she actually is going to have to get through, what she's got a lot going on, but she's going to have to get through next year. And what I'm gonna tell y'all, okay, what I was saying too is Mars is retrograding here, and I'm pretty sure Mars is gonna go back to the is it the 8th degree? Oh my gosh, I went the wrong way. Let's see how many times her moon, because I'm gonna tell y'all, I want y'all to watch this. Her moon being activated and her sun. So how is that Mars activating her sun? It's creating some type of pressure. It's like he say, she should say, because it's like a seesaw kind of effect. Um, so Mars is gonna go retrograde in October, on the 30th at the 25th degree, and it's gonna go, let's see here, where is it here? Oh yeah, it's gonna go back over that moon. So I'm gonna tell y'all around her birthday, because her birthday is December 3rd, it's gonna be a little bit deeper into December. but we're gonna hear something from Tiffany Haddish in December. Trust and believe. Uh, it'll be something with this lawsuit, and it'll be like a revisitation of it or something like that. And then again, we'll hear from her around the top of February, late January, early February. We'll hear from her again because Mars is going to cross back over that moon 3 times. So she needs to be in this for several months. That Mars transit is here for her. Let me see what y'all saying on the angles. Yes, yeah, the angles are. Oof, wow. The- Outside of the eclipses, understanding the angles will take you very far. Okay, so let's look at Aries. And I haven't even looked at her other charts. There's one I do want to look at, y'all. I want to look at her progress chart. Let me tell you, the progress chart, which you can call it the evolutionary chart, is how I look at it. So when you were born, that snapshot, like if we look at her chart, that snapshot of her at the moment she was born, um, it was that moment, and then the wheel kept turning. And it just keeps turning year after year after year. And so as the wheel turns, as the world turns, we evolve. So in this chart, she is an Aquarius rising, whereas in her natal chart, she is a Capricorn. So she's a progressed Aquarius. Okay. She's a progressed Aquarius. This is not fun. This is not fun. In her progress chart, the South Node is conjunct Venus. Um, yeah, I would be willing to bet if we could sit down and just be like, Tiffany, for real, tell us the truth. You have been avoiding something spiritual or something. There's something you're supposed to do and you've been avoid doing it. She would tell us, yeah, y'all got me. Y'all got me. Her moon in this chart is at 22 degrees, sun at 24. Okay, so no big changes there. So, because the progress chart can kind of, well, I tell you what though, her sun is in the 12th house in this chart too. So that's telling. And she's got a lot going on over here in the 8th house. Wow. Okay. So let's look at old Aries Spears, which there is no birth time that I found for him. But one thing for sure, I would say about Aries Spears, first of all, this moon is going to be correct. Okay. You have to kind of know about degrees and because if you don't have the time of birth, that like I don't really know where his moon is, but I do know he has a moon in Capricorn. Okay. Isn't that interesting? He has a moon in Capricorn and she is a Capricorn rising with her Venus there. No coincidences, friends. No coincidences. Now he has Uranus in Scorpio. I mean, yeah, Scorpio, which is at 1 degree. So it really hasn't been fully affected by the eclipses yet. Um, let's see here. Okay. So we have Saturn. Okay, let me go back to um Aries. So number one, he is having a Jupiter return. I said this looks like the most sucky Jupiter return I've ever seen. This is not fun. The Jupiter return is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be like a period of like grand awakening. And here he is embroiled in a lawsuit. Let's see here. Where's Jupiter right now? It's at 6 degrees of Aries. So what happened was Jupiter came into Aries, I think it was May, and it crossed over his Jupiter, one hit. Now it's about to cross back over sometime this fall, another hit. And it'll go back into Pisces. And it actually is going to hit, check this out. Now, we don't really know his rising sign. He's very Aries, though. Like if you look at his eyes, he looks just like an Aries, but Um, yeah, I don't know. I get a Taurus from well, look, he's got Venus and Taurus. I get Taurus energy from him too. So you can kind of look at a person, and one of the things about um Aries is you'll see their eyes are kind of big. Or like you can tell a lot about them. My older son is Aries and his eyes aren't big, but people have always kind of noticed his eyes. And whenever something is wrong, all I had to do was look at his eyes and it was like, oh nah, you see everything in his eyes. So that's something that's unique for Aries. Just think about the Aries in your life. If they're not telling you what's going on, you'll see it in their eyes, or there'll be something special about their eyes. I remember when he was a baby, women would always talk about his eyes. I would be like, "I'm uncomfortable, like, he's on my hip." Oh my gosh. Anywho, but from his son, he has planets in the 12th house. One is Lilith, which we know Lilith has to do with the energy of disempowerment and wounding. Um, it's a it's I love Lilith because Lilith is about where we can step into our power, but where I struggle with Lilith is if we don't realize this wounding that we got, then it's no telling how this thing is going to play out in our lives. And so Lilith and Pisces in the 12th house from his son, that's not necessarily that's an indication he potentially could have some type of trauma from his childhood. Does anyone know about him? Like, was he raised up in his family? Let me see here. Moon. Ugh. Um, Well, he was raised up by somebody who knew, astrology. Anywho, he has his Mercury there. So, Jupiter crossed over that Mercury. Now, listen to me. Jupiter is a planet that has mm. Jupiter is a planet that has to do with justice, okay? So, he is dealing with legal issues of justice. Even when you read what the little girl wrote or the young lady now, she said, "As an adult, I have the power to protect my little brother now and have the power to do something about what happened to him. And that's what my goal is to get done. Just to show my little brother that, hey, I'm sorry I wasn't able to protect you and be there for you, but this is how I'm showing up for you now." Weird. I feel so sorry for these kids. No matter what the situation is, this is just not okay. My heart goes out to them. I'm going to tell you something else that Jupiter has to do with cheerings. Let's see here. A revealing dark side to our personality. Yes. Hey, sunflower seeds. Um, Also revealing dark side to her personality and duality. Yep. People with heavy Aries placement have big foreheads. That would be true, Sharmika. Anything, especially like from the upper teeth up. Ears, maybe that's Taurus, maybe that's ears probably would be more of like a Taurus thing, but definitely teeth up is gonna be, Aries, and so, yes, some Aries can have a big forehead. So, Jupiter has to do with, children, so, I'm like, "This is a very sucky Jupiter return for him." I would be like, "This is not what I envisioned for myself." So, Jupiter is gonna go back over that. Let's see here. When is Jupiter gonna be at the 3rd degree? And let's just see if we hear anything come out about Aries, around that time. So Jupiter is gonna hit Aries fear has been in the news for a minute. Let's see here. May. I'm gonna do a little research to see when did we start hearing more and more from them. The other day, before we even heard this, I was telling my husband that he had made some comments about Lizzo and everybody was coming for him about it. And my husband was like, for some people, bad publicity is good publicity. I'm like, you know what? I'm beginning to think that about Aries fears. Um, okay, so Jupiter will hit that 3rd degree. Okay. So I'm gonna tell y'all it's gonna be an activation. Something's happening at the end of this month around that new moon. And that's gonna be a very impactful new moon for him. 2 degrees of Libra. That's he's gonna start a whole okay, here we go. So we can look at this just like it is because he is an Aries, okay? So what's opposite Aries? Libra. Libra has to do with legal affairs. This new moon is happening at 2 degrees of Libra, right down here, which is exact opposite by a degree Jupiter in his chart. Man, this is not gonna be like over the night for these people. It's gonna be incredible. And even to see that he has Pluto opposite his sun, his Jupiter, and we could say the Gemini, the Mercury a little bit. But then the Jupiter is going to hit that Mercury at 28 degrees. Now that Mercury's been hit up already one time by Jupiter, and it seemed like there was something else. Did something else happen there? Anywho, that's going to be the next thing that we hear. It's going to be even more because see, remember Mercury has to do with news. So we're gonna hear some news about him. And when is that gonna be? So September, okay, October. I mean, honestly, we potentially could be hearing news as early as the end of October because it's 29 degrees. That's just 1 degree of his Mercury. November is I think he's gonna be in the news a lot. Let's see what Mercury rules for him from his sun sign. So Mercury rules the house of problems. Um, Also, let me tell y'all something else. No, 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 no. Forget that. So it rules his house of problems, and it rules his house that has to do with, and he's actually, I think, pretty creative because that Mercury in Pisces is not actually a good placement, but and it's not necessarily like if you have that placement, don't panic. It is just what it is. Some of us get Mercury and Pisces. I'm one of those people, but it's not a good placement. Mercury does not do well, and it's just they're not a good fit. I'll say it that way. They're mismatched with Mercury and Pisces. But what that can do is make somebody very, very creative, right? Um, I ain't gonna lie, that is it's a little bit of and I say this with a lot of respect, but it's just astrology, okay, y'all? So that's all I'm talking because I don't like saying negative things about people. So I don't want y'all to think I'm bashing him, but he got a little bit of lion energy in him. Because from his sun sign, Mercury rules the house that has to do with um, communication, news, and yeah, talking. And it's in Gemini is a mutable sign. And mutable means like, yeah, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's always like you're not quite sure. You're not quite sure. And Mercury is in Pisces, and Pisces is a sign that has to do with gossip. A lot of Pisces, we sweet people, but guys, that's a sign that's got to do with gossip, being gossipy. I say it's ruled by Yemaja, and being gossipy is taboo for people who are ruled by Yemaja. So I'm just like, not me, can't gossip. But yeah, I can imagine, but it is both of those signs. Like Gemini is not a sign that is, and I say this with respect, y'all. Don't mean that you don't have morals. It's the sign, not the people. Gemini is a sign that is not really about like being moral. It's a sign that's curious. And so it's just going to look at everything and, it's not a real deep feeling sign or anything like that. And honestly, y'all are here people really dogging. Tell me what y'all know about Geminis, the Geminis who got on your nerves, because there's a lot of good Geminis out there. My son is a Gemini. Eileen got a Gemini for a daughter. She's beautiful. Good people. But let's think about what people say about Geminis. They can be a little bit liars, right? Oh, or gossipy for him, or just running his mouth. Oh my God. Um, Another thing that's happening that I think is interesting in his chart. Let's see here. Chiron is at 15 degrees. So Chiron, the wounded healer, both of them got something going on with this wounded healer. Chiron has transited his sun. What is the sun? The sun is career. And so it's gone over his sun and it's bringing something up. It's bringing something up. For me, when I have Chiron transit my planets like that, it's not fun. I had my Chiron return and oh my gosh, that was one of the most, it was internally just like painful because it just brings up all the stuff that needs to be healed that you aren't healing, which could be what's going on with bruh Aries. Um, let's see here. Look at this. His Lilith, we got Lilith at 15 degrees of Cancer, and his this man cannot catch a break. And this is in Cancer. His Saturn is in Cancer. So his Saturn has just been activated by Lilith. And so, Lilith is like, hey, we gotta get our power back, or I don't know why I kind of feel like and I'm not gonna say she's about justice, but it definitely is an energy that is about like, you're not gonna take advantage of me. Yeah. And Saturn and Cancer is not good. Do we know anything about him? I never heard of him before. Oh, okay. He was on Mad TV. So this Lilith activating this Saturn. I'm gonna type this in. Let's see here. Aries Spears. I just want to see something real quick, y'all. I'm sorry. I hope this is not too boring. But I like love this. Chicago, moved to New York when he was 2 years old. Oh, his mom is a jazz singer. Okay, so he definitely had his mom. Comedian at 14. Doesn't say anything about his dad. Looks like his childhood was not bad. That's good. Let's see here. Yeah, he was on Mad TV. Okay. So yeah, so that's good to see that, even though, yeah. Saturn is a planet that has to do with karma. And so yeah. Mm, this is interesting. Let's see here. Mercury is gonna transit his Pluto. We say this for breath. So Mercury retrograde is gonna go from, I think it's 8 degrees of Pluto. I mean Libra on back. So it's gonna hit that Pluto. Wow. We're gonna hear a lot about what's going on with him. He might be somebody that you just hear a lot of people talking about in the news, because that's a lot of Mercury activation, a lot of Geminian activation, you know. Now, the last thing I'm going to say about him is the eclipses move into Libra and Aries next year. He will be going in a whole new direction. Trust and believe. He will be going in a whole new direction. It's amazing. So, who do we think will be the next comedian that we will hear about? And I tell y'all, comedy hype is blowing up. When we're talking about this Gemini eclipses, I don't know if y'all look at Comedy Hype, but it's one of my favorite YouTube channels. And I've noticed like they have gotten so much better. Okay, hold on. And I find it strange that he got exposed after just talking bad about Lizzo for absolutely no reason. What are we saying? What did I say this planet has to do with? And see, let me tell you, I didn't even make the link until you said that. Ocean Kimmy. Um, I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it because I want to believe that all of the planets operate in our favor. But you know, Lilith is about women's empowerment because she was like, you're not gonna tell me what to do, Adam. I rebuke you," and she did. Um, so she's about women's empowerment. I guess she was like, "Oh, is that what you want to say about Lizzo?" Okay. Well, I got this for you. I don't know. We just having fun. I'm just talking, okay? Because I don't want the universe to be. Yeah, all comedians are beefing right now. Who else is beefing that you know about, Ocean Kimmy? I know I saw well, Monique and DL, and I saw what was this guy's name? He has I think maybe a morning show or something like that. He was like, "Why are the comedians acting like this? We need to get along." Me either. Yes, I can look at his chart one day. I'll do that next time, Shamika. But there was I noticed the other day, and it's like now that I'm talking to y'all, I'm able to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's some black man that has like a morning show, a talk show or something like that. And he was like, "Why are all the comedians arguing? We need to be getting along." So there's a shift going on because Mercury, the eclipses went through that house of Gemini. And so it's a shift happening within the comedians, and it's just how it is. So that's very, very interesting. Okay. Corey Holcomb, an earthquake. Interesting. I hadn't heard about that. So yeah, we'll be seeing more. So my prediction is, let's see here. The eclipses are now it'll be until around, I don't know. I think all of next year, we're going to still see quite a bit going on with the comedians, to be honest with you. I think people are looking at Chris Rock crazy for his comment comparing hosting some award show to Nicole Brown's. What is Chris Rock doing? I'm not going to say anything because nobody slapped me on national TV. And so I'm like, you know what? If that's what Chris Rock want to say, then Chris Rock is to say it. I would not say something like that. That to me, that is horrific. A horrific comparison. But, I don't know. I haven't been slapped on national TV in front of everybody. So I'm just going to let him do. It made so much sense either. What? Yes, no sense. Yes, it made no sense either. Right. Okay, ladies. I know most of y'all saw this, but I do want to just put this up. My Goddess Mini Toolkit. It does not cost anything. I'm trying to give this away and nobody's taking me up on it. I got to work on my sales. I can't even sell free stuff. No, I'm joking. Let me stop. I do not want to be bringing that in on me. But anywho, no one signed up for it. So only sign up for it if you want it. But it does have some really good stuff in it. My 4 Keys to Self-Mastery class. It has some downloadables, the Full Moon Journal, a hypnosis track, and a mindfulness track that are all designed to help you in your mind. And also my guide for goddess-centered living, but that has been updated with me adding a video explaining it. Oh, okay. I did not know that. Eileen. That's a good point. That's a real good point. Yeah, I really haven't been super connected to Chris Rock much. I don't know what shifted for me with him. I don't know. I just kind of moved away from him. So I don't know a lot about him now. I'm happy that he's very successful, but I don't know anything about it. So yeah, just to also let y'all know, this week I will do the the full moon. We're gonna go with the full moon. It may not be a full retreat just because I have a little extra stuff I got to do this week. I'm gonna put it in the bio. I created this I just threw myself online because I was like, let me just go online. But I will put it in the bio, and I will I just put it there in the live chat. But yeah, I'll put it there, and let me see. But yeah, we need to talk about this Pisces full moon that's coming, and yeah. Thank y'all for being here with me. This was fun. I appreciate you. And y'all, these eclipses got a sister. I just give thanks that I know about it. So this is the last thing I'm going to say. It's based on our discussion this evening. And that is, how amazing would it be if people were able to be a little bit more conscious about the energy that's surrounding them, so that they could work, with the mission that lies before them. It would be lovely. It would be lovely. Yay, glad to hear that. Yeah, the astrology. Yeah, the astrology. All right, ladies, I appreciate y'all so much. And I will see y'all probably Wednesday. Yeah. I'm going to go live for the full moon on Wednesday morning. You'll see me post that link. Tell Pisces full moon to leave me alone this year. Eileen, I'm going to tell you everything I'm doing because you and our numbers up. Our numbers is up, Eileen. Yeah. What did I say that moon is? What is that moon? 17? This week, I was like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. I'm washing my hands everywhere I go. And I think I don't know, Eileen. I think that what we need to do is, so what are we talking about with me and Eileen? The degree of that moon can impact your sun or your moon. And I discovered this when I had a full moon, not an eclipse, just a full moon on my moon. And I remember thinking, even the day of, I was like, what does this mean? Like, oh my gosh, I just had a full moon. Like, it was at 10 degrees of Taurus. And I was like, why? Why are you doing this to me, universe? Why? Man, that's one of the hardest things that's ever happened to me. I ended up getting the Rona, and it took a year for me to get well. It took a full year. I did not start feeling better until the top of this year. I rang in 2021 in bed with a fever, not a fever, but in bed, sick as could be. And then it was not until like right at the top of this year where I was like, oh, I'm back. I can taste everything. I'm not demotivated, all that. So that's when I first started saying, dang, you got to be careful around these full moons. So the next one that I saw was my dad. My dad had a full moon birthday. I was like, why? Why is the full moon happening for my dad? So I think it was a full moon. It was something full moon or maybe new moon. I don't know. But I was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? But it seemed like everything was okay because you may not notice anything right away. Sure enough, shortly thereafter, he fainted one day at the gas station and hit his head. He's like 79 when this happened. And then last year, I had just started coaching Eileen and another lady, and their birthday is like 1-2 days apart. And I told both of them, I was like, I really want to bring you good news, but you might want to be careful on your birthday. What happened to you, Eileen? Let's just say folks it was rough after that. Okay. And then I had another sister, when I looked at her chart, I was just like, I really hope this turns out well for you, but you have a full moon on it was one of her planets. And I was just like, you know what? I think it was the full moon in the full moon in Pisces. Yes, maybe it was the full moon in Pisces that got Eileen and the other lady, because they're Virgo, so it couldn't have been the new moon. And so maybe it was like the Aquarius moon got my dad or something. I don't know. But anywho, the person that had a Gemini birthday, I was like, I'm telling you, be cautious. And sure enough, she got the Rona. Other things have happened. It's not always, of course, that. But for me, for here lately, when I started noticing, that's what it is. So we gotta, you want me to tell you something I've been thinking about, Eileen? Is maybe like working with the Orisha, maybe make an offering to Yemoja. Also take stock, like what are the things that I know I'm supposed to do that I'm not doing? Because I think that's really what the full moon on your moon or sun can do. It can really show you where, you need to make some adjustments in your lifestyle, because this is wearing you out. This is wearing you down. It ain't no joke. So, what's, do you know the degree of your sun, Sharmika? I'm going to tell you, Sharmika, I've just like surrendered to the eclipses as a Scorpio. Do you know the degree, or give me the date? I don't remember Sharmika's birthday. Yeah, I can't even remember. I've done so many readings. Are you October? In October? So let me tell you where 17 degrees. I don't know why I thought it was 17. Okay. 17 degrees for you with that Pisces full moon is going to be good. You'll love the Pisces full moon, unless you have something in Virgo. Which you do, but I don't remember the degree. But this moon in Scorpio is going to be at 2 degrees of Scorpio. I'm excited about that. So if you have something around 2, I'm just going to go from 0 to like 10 degrees Scorpio. Get ready. That's like the first 10 days of Scorpio season. If you have planets or if you have a birthday there. But see, that's a new moon. Okay, that's a new moon. Let's see where this Taurus is. So the Taurus eclipse. Okay. Boo-hoo. The Taurus eclipse is at 16 degrees of, is 16 degrees of Taurus. So if you have something, like maybe down to 6 degrees or over to 26 degrees of Taurus, you're going to feel that. But you really could be like more like if you have 21 degrees, 16 to 21 degrees, or 16 to like 11 degrees of Taurus, for sure. That will be, 11, 10. Oh, I thought I was like, I feel like Sharmika is a November Scorpio. So the Taurus eclipse is going to get you the most. Let's see here. You said 17. Oh, okay. 17 degrees. Yeah. So it'll be the Taurus eclipse is going to be more impactful on you, Sharmika, because it's at 16 degrees of Taurus. So the best thing we can do is accept. Just accept. The best thing we can do is just accept that. First and foremost, we have to remember eclipses are fated events. And they are designed to take us in the right direction. So if you have my eclipse class from May, you really should go back and review that. If you're a Scorpio, even Leos, Aquariuses, and Tauruses will be greatly impacted. Because that eclipse is right in the middle, too. That second one is right in the middle. So, yeah. Alrighty. Yeah, we will survive. We will survive. But I do think it's important for us, like I was saying, to work with, I think, too, another good one to work with is Oya. And, we always say, oh, yeah, with grace and ease. But, oh, yeah, what is it? What is it that I need to do? And, oh, yeah, probably is going to say, you already know what you need to do. Just do it. I just got to get to 2024. Oh, my gosh. Anywho, y'all, love y'all so much. Thank y'all for being here with me and having fun with me. And, I wish everyone involved with this, Haddish, Spears, children situation, just peace and blessings. That's what I'm going to say. Let's see here. Yeah. Just take deep breaths. Just take deep breaths. Okay, queens. Love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. You too, queen.